people after the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And we are still talking about Amirul Mu'mineen, Sayyiduna Umar ibn al-Khattab radiyallahu anhu ardah. And he's the first one, by the way, who was given this title, Amirul Mu'mineen. Because in the time of Sayyiduna Abu Bakr, they will say, Abu Bakr, Khalifatu Rasulillah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And when Sayyidina Umar took over, so they will say, Khalifatu Khalifati Rasulillah. Khalifatu Khalifati Rasulillah. Then if it remained like this, then the fourth one will come, then he will say, Khalifatu Khalifati Khalifati Rasulillah. Then it will go forever. So someone came to him and he said, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, you are the Amir, the leader of the believers, of the Mu'mineen. So Sayyidina Umar first did not like it. He said, what is this? What is where did you get this from? He said, are we not the Mu'mineen? Are we not the believers? He said, yes. He said, are you not our Amir, our leader? He said, yes. So he said, you are Amir al-Mu'mineen. So he accepted that, and he took that title, radiyallahu anhu, and from them the Khalifa will be given that title. Sayyiduna Umar radiyallahu anhu has a very, very great life. As we mentioned, this Khilafah continued for 10 years, and this is why radiyallahu anhu, he had a very, very rich life that we can take so many lessons from. And last time we talked about his care for the community and how he organized things and how he started like ministries, like ministry of social security, as we mentioned, and he recorded the names of people and how much every person will be given of the revenues of the state. As we mentioned, he will not, as our some or most Muslim leaders, they steal the money of the Muslims and they store it in the banks of Europe and those countries, right? No, Sayyiduna Umar radiallahu anhu, he will give to people because this is the money of the people. And we mentioned about that, and we are still talking about his care for the community, his care for the state. And today we start with a very important point that yes, Sayyiduna Umar radiallahu anhu, he made salaries for the Muslims, for everyone, even the babies, when they are born, they have a certain amount of money that they will be given. But at the same time, he realized that these salaries, of course, they're getting salaries for nothing. This is just the extra revenues coming. So everyone has his own business, but in addition to that, he will be given a certain amount of money because this money is coming for the state. So what should they do with it? Of course, they will keep some for the services, then the rest is what? He will not put it in his pocket, obviously. He will give it to the Muslims. And he will give what? Every category of people, he will give them in accordance to their sacrifices and to their giving for Islam. So you will get an amount in accordance with what you have given to Islam, right? Now Islam is having benefits, let's say. How much you will get? It depends on how much you spent, how much sacrifice. So the people of Badr, for example, will get more than the people who came later on, after 9 years or 10 years of Islam, right? Because those are the very first people. The migrants, al-muhajirin, they will get more than the other people. Why? Because they left their homes, they left their families, they left their towns. So they sacrificed a lot. So now in Islam, alhamdulillah, we have the Muslim treasury and we have a lot of money. They will be given more than other people. But Sayyiduna Umar radiallahu anhu, he was aware that some people might now depend on this salary and they will leave their job and they will be lazy and they will leave work. So he radiallahu anhu, he will not give charity to people who are able to work. He will not give people charity if they are able to work. So he was aware of this thing, radiallahu anhu wa ardah. And Imam al-Mawardi, rahimahullah, he mentions that if some people are asking for charity and taking sadaqah, yet they are able to work, they should not be given, because that will make people more lazy and they will just depend on sadaqah, but that is not permissible in Islam. Sayyiduna Umar radiallahu anhu, of that money that is excessive, what did he do? He started, and he's the first one to start the Muslim treasury, Baytul Mal or Al-Khizana. He dedicated a big building, a very fortified building, just to put the extra money that is coming to the Muslim state. That is he was the first one to do this, radiallahu anhu wa ardah, by the suggestion of some of the Sahaba, and to organize things, because he did not want to give all the money right away. So he needed, and the community needs, that you keep some money for some services, for emergency, etc. So this is what he did, radiallahu anhu wa ardah. He entered once, as Imam ibn Abi Dunya mentions, he met some people from Yemen, and he said, "Who are you?" It seems they were sitting and doing nothing. They said, "We are al-mutawakkilun. We are the ones who put their trust in Allah. We have big trust in Allah." As if they're saying, we don't need to work. Allah will provide us, will bring our rizq to us. We don't need to work. He said, "Bal antum al-mutawakkilun." No, you are mutawakkilun. You're not muttakilun. You're not mutawakkilun. You're mutawakkilun. You think you are really putting your trust in Allah, but not. He said, radiyallahu anhu wa ardah, إِنَّمَا الْمُتَوَكِّلُ الَّذِي يُلْقِي حَبَّهُ فِي الْأَرْضِ وَيَتَوَكَّلُ عَلَى اللَّهِ. He's giving them a very important lesson, giving them and giving us, saying the one who really puts his trust in Allah is the one who saw the seeds on the land, then he puts his trust in Allah. Right? As he mentioned to some people one time, they were in the masjid, and as we heard from our sheikhs also, they said, "We are worshipping Allah," and he said, "Do you have work? How do you earn your living?" They said, "We put our trust in Allah." Then he said, Go get out and go work, because the heaven will not rain silver or gold." So tawakkul, or putting your trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is something related to the heart. It's a deed of the heart, as the scholars mention, min a'mal al-qulub. That's an action of the heart. That's one of the deeds of the heart. It's not in the body. In your body you have to work. Then in your heart you put your trust in Allah, not in your work. That is tawakkul. That's the right meaning of tawakkul. You take the medicine, but you put your trust in Allah, not in the medicine. You go out and you work and you do your best, but you put your trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is the true meaning of tawakkul. So he, radiallahu anhu, urged especially the young men to work and to seek their living. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Mulk, Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad, وأسروا قولكم أو اجهروا به إنه عليم بذات الصدور ألا يعلم من خلق وهو اللطيف هو الذي جعل لكم الأرض ذلولا فامشوا في مناكبها. He is the one who made the earth submissive to you. ذلولا أي مذللة مسهلة. You can go and walk on the earth. It's easy. جعل لكم الأرض ذلولا فامشوا في مناكبها. Go and walk in its roads and its ways. فَامْشُوا فِي مَنَاكِبِهَا وَكُلُوا مِنْ رِزْقِهِ. And eat from his sustenance, from his provision, subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَإِلَيْهِ النُّشُورِ. But remember that you will be resurrected to him. Don't get drowned in seeking your rizq. Don't get drowned in just working all day and night just for earning your living, and you forget that you're going to return to Allah one day. So he radiallahu anhu urged the young men and people in general to do this, and once he said to someone called Abu Dhubyan, as in this authentic hadith, he said, "How much do you have, O Abu Dhubyan?" He said, "I have almost 2,500, like 2,500. He said, فَاتَّخِذْ شَاءً, why don't you get some sheep? Because, so it seems he's asking him about the salary that he's receiving. The salary that he's receiving from the state. He said 2,500. He said, why don't you take and get some sheep? So he's guiding him to do what? To trade, right? To do some trade. Because the money, if you don't invest the money, it will go away, right? You will spend it and then you will end up having nothing. You will end up having nothing. So he told him, get some sheep, because some young men from Quraysh will take over and they will stop giving these givings or salaries to the Muslims. And that's exactly what happened when the people, the Umayyads came. They stopped giving. Now they started taking to their pockets. This is why they're not khulafa. The Umayyads are not khulafa. Through the words of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, Khilafah after me is only 30 years. 30. That's Sayyiduna Abu Bakr and Sayyiduna Umar and Sayyiduna Uthman and Sayyiduna Ali and Sayyiduna Al-Hasan. These are the khulafa in Islam only. Then inshallah at the end of time, Khilafah will come back, but absolutely not through the hands of those foolish young men who are claiming now they want to restore or re-establish the Khilafah, ISIS and Al-Qaeda, because Khilafah is the farthest from such people who do not represent Islam in any way or by any means. So radiallahu anhu, as you can see, he's urging him to invest his money, go and work, make and use these money and get sheep, get whatever. This is how Muslims also here. You should not just depend on something, some aid you're getting from the government, social security, whatever. Try and work together. This is how the Muslims should do, especially here. Cooperate with your brothers and try to establish some institutions, some companies, some firms, whatever, to have a better life. That is part of Islam. Islam does not encourage you to be poor. No, not at all. Not at all. And we mentioned this many times. The Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, every day he will say, Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min al-kufri wal-faqr. I seek refuge with you from disbelief and from poverty. And al-yad al-ulya, as he said sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the authentic hadith, al-yad al-ulya khayru min al-yad al-sufla. The upper hand is better than the lower hand. Which is the upper hand? The one that gives, not the one that takes. At the very same time, your heart should be dedicated to Allah. Your heart should be connected with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Look at the 10 ashara mubashirin. Al-ashara al-mubashara bil-jannah. Sayyiduna Uthman, one of the richest people. Sayyiduna Abdurrahman bin Auf, one of the richest people. Sayyiduna Abu Bakr, one of the richest people. They were rich. That did not deprive them of Jannah. Why? Because they were rich, but their hearts were dedicated to Allah, and when Islam needed their money, they offered all of their money. As we know about Sayyiduna Uthman and Sayyiduna Abu Bakr and Sayyiduna Umar radiallahu anhu, who was also later on, he became rich, but when he took the Khilafah, he will just spend everything for the Muslims radiallahu anhu wa arda. He also said radiallahu anhu wa arda in another hadith, لا تتلثوا أو لا تلثوا بدار المعجزة. Don't stay in a country or in a town where you cannot earn your living. So also he's urging, go around and seek a place where you can have good living. And he said, وَخْشَوْشِنُوا, and get used to the difficult life. Don't always live a luxurious life also, because you don't know what happens to you. And this is a great advice from Sayyiduna Umar radiallahu anhu to the youth also. And it is very, very beneficial to take the youth to the camps, to some trips, so that they feel some difficulty in life. Let them go and cook and wash dishes and live in the forest for some time. That's very important for their life, so that they get used to some difficulties in life and to get used to work by themselves. He also said, radiallahu anhu, it's narrated that he said, مكسبة فيها بعض الدنيا خير من مسألة الناس. He even said to work in a profession or to do a work that has maybe some low level in the sight of people. It's not like very respectful profession in the sight of people, but it's better than begging people for money. This is very, very precious advice from Sayyiduna Umar radiallahu anhu. SubhanAllah, in Jordan I spent 1 year and a half. I worked in a supermarket, in a shopping mall. I worked different things. In Syria I worked in different places. It doesn't matter. Whatever, any good work that you're doing, don't look at people and don't care about people. That is all better than begging people for money. So he, radiallahu anhu wa ardah, as we mentioned, the first one who established the Muslim treasury, or what do they call it? The place where you store, like a bank, like the central bank, you can say, right? Or the place where the state puts the extra money, or the reserve, if you like, right? The Federal Reserve, they say. Okay. And that was by the suggestion of some of the Sahaba, and he agreed with that. Also, he was the first one to give extra care for the agriculture, for farming, for opening the rivers for the Muslims. Look, subhanallah, what is this called now? Infrastructure, right? So he gave care to the infrastructure. Community, this is a state now. This is a state, it's organized, mashallah. Now we have ministries, we have everything is organized. And he now puts care for farming. And now people of economy, they say agriculture is the foundation of economy. If you don't have agriculture, you will not have industry. So agriculture is very important. So he started making this easy for people, started ordering his governors to open and to make the rivers and to make what do they call it? These water vaults to store the water and to distribute the water, and these things to make it easier for people. And he, radiallahu anhu, issued a statement, or issued a bill, if you like, or made a decision that any person who finds a land that is deserted, then he takes care of that land, he will own it. And this is from the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, from the Hadith. But he says, if within 3 years, no, he puts a time frame. If within 3 years you don't make this piece of land producing and now giving fruits and vegetables, then it will be taken from you and given to someone else. So that is his care for the Muslim lands, for the Muslim resources, not like us now. Wallahi, subhanallah, sometimes we just waste money, and sometimes not our money, the money of the masjid. We get a table, we don't like it, we just throw it outside. Then if the rain comes, the sun comes, then it's gone. Then even sometimes we don't have, we don't even think to throw it away, it's just garbage. Who's responsible for this? Whoever does that is responsible. This is the Muslim money. People donate and this is the Muslim money. So this is responsibility more important than your own house. So this is how the Muslim think. You don't just let it outside, a table, whatever, chairs. No, you have to take care of them, store them in a good place. It's not your money, this is the Muslim money. So we have to just Like Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, as we mentioned, even he saw a lamb, a dead lamb, or a dead sheep, thrown. He said sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in some narrations, هَلَّا أَخَذْتُمْ إِهَابَهَا فَدَبَغْتُمُوهُ. Why don't you take the skin and you, what is this process they call it? I keep forgetting this word. To make the skin pure, they put some chemicals and there's a word for it. Huh? Tanning, something like this? Tanning, right? Guys, what's the word?
Yes, tanning.
Huh? Tanning, right? Tanning. So he said, why don't you, tanning. Why don't you take it and tan it so that you benefit from it? A dead sheep. Now how many dead sheep we're losing? Not dead sheep, how much money we're losing, we're wasting. Look, go outside and you can have a look and see some canopies, some chairs, tables, toys, etc., etc. We are responsible, dear brothers and sisters. We have to learn from Sayyiduna Umar radiallahu anhu how to take care of the Muslim resources, how to take care of things, to preserve the ni'mah. I mentioned last time, right? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam saw a date on his house, how he picked it up, right? So this is what our religion teaches us. So he, radiallahu anhu ardah, started opening, making those rivers, and he commanded Al-Ahnaf bin Qais in Al-Basra, he made him make a river because people were complaining they did not have good water, so he commanded him make this river for them, and another river on Tigris River in Syria currently, or in Iraq. But the greatest one that he did, radiallahu anhu, in this field was the canal that connected the Nile River to the Red Sea. Imagine, this canal, now who knows, it developed into what now? What the most important canal in the whole world currently is what? Who knows? In Egypt, what is it? Suez Canal. That canal that Sayyiduna Umar radiallahu anhu did 14 centuries ago, that was the beginning of the Suez Canal. It's same thing. It connects from the Red Sea to the Nile, then they continued to the Mediterranean. So Sayyiduna Umar radiallahu anhu, and by the way, some people they say that was before, even in the ancient nations they did that, but it was buried, and then Sayyiduna Umar, in the time of Sayyiduna Umar, through his governor Sayyiduna Amr ibn al-As radiallahu anhu, his governor on Egypt, he reopened that canal to make connection between Al-Madinah al-Munawwara and Egypt. So it will be easy for commodities, for transportation, etc., etc. So you can see his far side, you can see his achievements, you can see, like just any modern state, he's acting radiallahu anhu greater than any of these leaders or presidents or governors. Inshallah, we will finish with another thing about him radiallahu anhu in this regard, which is building the cities. Also, he started building the cities, and not just random, yalla, make people. No, it was organized. As we mentioned, he had land survey, he had organization of things. So he, radiallahu anhu, people came to him from some towns, and he said he did not like their bodies and their. So he said, why you're like this? They said, because of our countries is not like organized, is not. So he commanded Sa'd bin Abi Waqqas radiallahu anhu to find a place that is a good place. So they found Al-Kufa, and he commanded them to start building Al-Kufa. So it was in his time, radiallahu anhu ardah, and it became one of the most prominent cities in the Muslim world, and it became the capital. Who knows in which time? Kufa. In which time it became the capital of the Muslim Ummah, of the Muslim state? In the time of Sayyiduna Ali. He took it as his capital. Imagine, who built it? Sayyiduna Umar. In the time of Sayyiduna Umar, radiallahu anhu, it was built, and of course, he made roads, he made streets, very wide roads, very wide streets, and paved them. And we know his famous word: if a sheep falls on one of the roads of Iraq, I will be afraid that Allah will ask me, why did not you pave the way for it, Ya Umar? That's his care, radiallahu anhu. That's his fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then we have Al-Basra, then in Egypt we have Al-Fustat and Giza, and this is why some people, they give him the title, the father of cities. He's the one who built so many cities in his time, radiallahu anhu, and he will not only do this, but he will choose the places, not random. He will think and he will choose the places and make roads, and radiallahu anhu wa ardah. That was Sayyiduna Umar radiallahu anhu wa ardah. Inshallah, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wills, we will continue about his great achievements and his care for the ummah in other fields, and to take more lessons from this great Sahabi. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shower him with more blessings. Of course, so many things he was the first to start, and we will try to finish them next time, inshallah, then move to something else about his blessed life. And we're coming closer to the end of his blessed khilafah and his passing away, then moving to one of the female companions of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. After we talked about Sayyiduna Abu Bakr, then we talked about Sayyida Khadija radiallahu anha, and now we're talking about Sayyiduna Umar. Then we will talk about Sayyida Fatima, the daughter of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Then we will talk about Sayyiduna Uthman radiallahu anhu wa arda. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shower them with his blessings and help us to learn more and more from their blessed life and to follow their footsteps until we meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us good in this life and the next life and protect us from the hellfire. Allahumma salli wa sallim wa barik ala Sayyidina wa Habibina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallim. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين.